Hey everyone, John here from ViewSonic, and today I'd like to take you on a little bit of a deeper dive into the heart of our new setup wizard, modes. In particular, today we'd like to talk about our HDMI Wake Up mode, or connecting it to a PC or Mac device. Let's go ahead and click in and take a look. Now we can just hit OK and proceed through the wizard, but for the sake of this moment, let's scroll up and take a little bit closer look at what is actually being configured underneath the hood. From a connectivity perspective, you'll see here that everything is off, and that's for a reason. We're not using an appliance-based device that we're expecting to send CEC commands. We're not controlling this from a control system where we would expect serial, RS-232, or LAN, and we're not using IP services. So all of those are disabled. So let's go ahead and skip down now to power and boot. Energy Star mode here is disabled because we're looking for optimum performance of the display. Standby mode is set to sleep. The other option is hibernate, which is more of a complete shutdown, and that results in a longer cold boot time. So in this case, sleep mode is what we want. We want a rapid wake when a device is connected. So sleep is what is configured here. Boot on source is set in this case to HDMI 1. If we have something like a huddle room where we've just made a simple HDMI cable available, that is nearly always connected to HDMI 1. So we've set that as the default out of the box. Power on state is set to forced on. So in the event of a blip in power, how is the display going to behave when power is restored? In this case, we want the display to come back on, because if we were in the middle of a presentation, we don't want to have to go and toggle it back on if the power blipped. And also because the display itself will sleep if it's needed. So in the event that it is not in use at the time that the power blips, it'll come back on, it'll see that it's not needed, and it will put itself back to sleep. Auto power off reminder is set to off because in this case, we're controlling the power state of the display with plugging and unplugging an HDMI cable. So we have a pretty good idea that we are intending for the display to go off if we unplug and walk out of the room. So we don't need that reminder. Let's take a look at signal, which is the heart of this particular mode. Auto switching of input ports is disabled because in most cases, again, we're not hanging multiple HDMI inputs to something, again, like a huddle room or a simple offline meeting room. We're using one. So we don't want that thing just switching all willy-nilly. We want it to stay right where it's set, back to the previous setting where we have configured it to boot by default to HDMI 1. No signal standby here is set to 10 seconds. So when that active source is lost, when there is no signal, the display will then stand by or go to sleep in 10 seconds. And here now we'll see wake on active source. This then, paired with no signal standby and auto signal detection, gives us the behavior that we're looking for in this particular use case. When an active source is detected, the display wakes up. When no signal is detected, the display goes into standby. And that, combined with a great display, makes for an awesome, simple user experience where all we need is a single PC or Mac connected. And that is our HDMI mode.